Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, Tetcher. Hello. Hope everyone's doing good today. Hope everyone's having a good day. Fair warning, you may see me... Hang on, need to adjust my camera a little bit here. There we go. You may see me mute myself quite a bit on this broadcast. And that is, you may see me like go quiet for a second, and that is because I have just come out of surgery recently, and as such, I am on the side effect of anesthesia and also having a tube down my throat. As such, I may have to mute myself to cough. Otherwise, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the HeroesCCL, where we are going to be covering some wonderful games today. I apologize about the graphics. Someone has not told CCL about dark mode yet, so I apologize for everyone's eyes. I may actually have a go at this next week to see if I can fix that and see if I can actually just make it dark mode. We'll see what we can do there. But as you can see, this week we have 4 wonderful games. We are back for CCL. My casting of CCL, excuse me, my casting of CCL will be 2 on, 2 off. Sorry, 4 on, 4 off. So this week I will be casting all the games you see here live. Next week I will not be. I will casting all of them on VOD. So you will be able to see them still live streamed on this channel, but they will not be simulcast with the HeroesCCL. Also, speaking of simulcast, we are currently not simulcast with the HeroesCCL. We are not simulcast with them because right now they haven't got their clean feed working. Like, they've literally just sent a message into the clean feed room for us casters saying, hey, it's not working. So we're currently just waiting for that to appear before we can do really anything. So that's where the delay is. That's what's going on. We're literally just having to sit through and wait for that. But, that's how it be sometimes. In the meantime, while we are waiting for all the action to happen, big thank you to subscriptions from JinxieCat 12 minutes ago. Damn, is that the best caster in the league? Oh, I don't know about that, but I do try my best. And we have a subscription, excuse me, from Casey Court as well, scrubbing for 9 months, 30 months from Jinxie. That was 7 minutes ago. Thank you both for your subscriptions. Remember, I can only keep casting with your support, so every little helps there, and we will be good. There are a lot of the co-streamers currently asking in the co-streamer channels, saying, hey, are we getting a clean feed, or are we going to have to do this off the mainstream? We'll have to see. Hello, Kaimo. Yes, I am back from surgery. I am wounded on the side effects of anesthetic, so I'm having to deal with my own throat. And Kaimo, gifting a sub to the community. Plucky Hero, congratulations on your subscription. Welcome to the stream, Plucky Hero. Hope you enjoy your sub while you are here. But yes, I'm on the side effects of anesthetic. I'm on the side effects of all sorts of stuff. And as such, we're going to have to deal with me muting myself to cough quite a few times, tube down the throat, all sorts of other stuff. But we're still going to try and bring you the games as best as we can. And thank you, Swig, for the 69 bits. Alrighty, we've just been told that there are currently technical issues, so what I'm going to have to do is load up the main stream and mute it. I'm not going to show you anything on the main stream yet, because there's not a huge amount going on, it's just the casters talking. Heroes half. There we go. They're usually just nattering about at this point. Okay, so they are apparently experiencing technical difficulties on their side as well, so that's going well. So there's nothing on the mainstream either. How's the tasty road medicine, motherfucker? Make it jump.
Ice cream helps, or so I hear.
I don't have any ice cream, but that's good to know. Thank you very much, Software, for the £20 donation. Very appreciated. Welcome to the stream. Scared the bejeebus out of me. But we are here. We're here for action. We're here for casting. Thank you all for your support. That's an insane amount of support already before we've even started. And I am excited. I am excited for these games. Let's talk about the games while we wait for Heroes Half to, you know, make something work. So, excuse me. We are starting off with There's no ETA on the clean feed. Oh, goody. Alright, we may just have to have a muted main stream as our cast today. Superb. Good first week, guys. Doing well as usual. So, let's talk about our matches for today. We're going to start off with previous season champions Simplicity. And they will be facing off versus ONYX Esports. If we look at the pre-season cup, which for our newer teams is all the really clues we have, ONYX went 2-1 versus Storm Esports. Storm Esports making it all the way to the finals before losing in a 2-3 versus 30k. So there's still plenty of opportunities for overcoming the odds there for ONYX Esports to maybe see if they can take out Simplicity, who also lost 0-2 in the final. Simplicity also lost 1-2 in the first round. So there's plenty of opportunities for that to turn on its head. Alright, looks like we're going to have a clean feed. Alright, we've been sent that there's a clean feed link. Fluffy, oh my god, Celux gifting 8 tier 1 subs to the community. Congratulations, Fluffy Lotus, Ethad, Tioli 1987, Golden Falcon. Hello, Golden Falcon. Zuzuzek. I'm going to get all of these wrong. Overpaid FC Football Club. A sitar wheel, 1981. I've not seen. What's a sitar wheel? Like, a sitar's an instrument, right? That is crazy. We have Nifero. D&D with THC. It's in the game. That's not how that one goes at all. But either way, we have it working. Thank you very much for your subscriptions, for the gifted subscriptions. Celux, you are awesome. And we do have our clean feed right now. Let's jump over to that. Well, there's nothing showing on it right now, but there is a clean feed. It is existing. We do have something. Like, look, it's real.
Tetch Bob, Tetch Dad, Tetch Hype, Tetch Love.
And Celux, thank you for subscribing as well. Very appreciated. You can see the stream is real. It's not imaginary. There is a clean feed that is now existing. And we will jump to that when the games actually are started. So for now, I don't know why I went back to me, because we'll go right back to the table. You can see here, we're starting off with ONYX versus Simplicity. So far, in terms of the D&D stats for dorks and drinking, nice. Feels good. So, once again, both these teams lost in round 1 of the Icebreaker tournament, but of course Simplicity are our current champions. In terms of heroes that we did see played once or twice, most of the heroes they did play only got to see one game in terms of statistics, but we have some interesting stats based on those. For the side of Simplicity, they've been really bringing out the Mei, something that in Storm Division and some of the other higher level leagues, we have been seeing Mei coming out a lot more. However, they only have a 50% win rate with that Mei, whereas their 100% win rate heroes are Abatha, Cassia, Lucio, and Tracer, meaning that they are so far showing that they are very strong with a bit more of a wilder draft, a bit more of an older style EU draft here. They also have a 0% win rate on Deckard, one of Legacy's big favourites last series. The meta has changed a lot since last series, so we'll see if they're able to hold on to that. Very interesting to see. Whereas on the side of ONYX, their 100% win rate heroes are Anubarak, Hanzo, Hogger, Samuro, and Stukov. So another bit of a meme hero in the lines of that Samuro. The Hogger and Hanzo, no surprises there. Anubarak is reasonable, same with Stukov. Their 0% win rate heroes, Zeratul, they brought that out to very low effect. Same with Rexar, although that match was absolutely intense. And they have a 0% win rate with Tyrael, Bad Betty, the main tank for ONYX, busting that out twice. One time into something that I will personally disagree with a bit here, busting out the Tyrael into a high 5 Lucio. That is what we call misplaced optimism, I think, is what we can call that. Because, why? The point of high 5 is it cleanses everything. We'll have to see if he brings that out once again. when we get into our drafts. Once again, because we are on the clean feed, I do not get to show you which maps are picked and banned, because unfortunately, CCL does not display those on the clean feed. So we kind of just have to live with what we are given. So, our second match, tomorrow's matches will be Wildheart Esports versus Chili Mountain. Should be some very fun matchups there. We'll have to see who comes out on top. Chili Mountain looking very strong this season. They've actually put on a much better performance than they did last season, not even winning maps in the Icebreaker tournament, but in this case, they went 2-1 versus Simplicity, the team that did knock out Simplicity in the first round before losing 2-0 to the eventually winning team of 30k. Chili Mountain, they are also running the exact same roster as their Masters Clash team. So they've actually been playing together a lot longer than basically anyone else has in this league outside of the teams that are unchanged, aka Simplicity, Oxygen Esports to a lesser degree, and to a very high degree, Wildheart Esports. Wildheart Esports, they have also gone unchanged, and they, along with Chili Mountain, are the only team to have been playing in their full setup outside of Funds, who got traded off to ONYX. Excuse me. They're the only team that have been able to play outside of CCL hours. As such, we have been seeing a little bit of play from them in Storm Division, where currently, this Thursday, I believe, Storm Division... Oh dear, okay, I've just been... Hang on, I don't think I'm supposed to show you this. I think there is literally a rule against me showing you stuff that you're not supposed to see on stream, but we have been given quite the view on the clean feed today. There we go, they've changed back from it. Basically, they decided to show us a graphic with all of the graphic guides still left on it without showing you, because I'm pretty sure it's against the rules. So, good to see. We're ready to go. I'm excited to see what in-game looks like. There we go. So they're just showing us what the matches are today, but they're showing us stuff that's more than they used to. That's actually really a kind of an improvement. I mean, I'll show you what they're showing us now. They're doing an improvement. They're actually showing us stuff that is happening here. Total donations to the prize pool for Storm Division up to 3k already. Thank you very much, everybody. Make sure you support the players. They are the reason we still have Heroes Esports today. So make sure to keep showing them that love. Excited to see the games today. So Wildheart, again, they are currently playing in the grand finals of Storm Division on Thursday, I believe. They will be playing against Heavy Impact. So make sure to tune in for that. That should be a very fun matchup. And we'll get to see who is better. A CCL team, the team that came second last season, or the non-CCL pre-drafted teams without running through the CCL draft, which is the potentially better format. At least for this season. ONYX, you can see their comp here, down one player. There was a little bit of shenaniganry and chicanery in the pre-setup. Bad Betty, Uki, Valamar, Gotfilth, and Funds. They also had Copenhagen, but Copenhagen, I believe, was traded, did leave the team after not believing they were going to get the games they were looking for. Excuse me. So it's a solid lineup, though. Lots of potential here. They've got the flex in Funds. Gotfilth, legendary assassin player playing last season on the side of Sidestep Kings. It's a solid lineup. Bad Betty back in that tank position. Maybe don't pick Judgment into High Five Lucio, and there is a lot of potential for him there. Bad Betty, if people do remember, you'll mostly remember him from Fnatic, where they replaced Wubby when Wubby left the team for Dignitas, taking on the offlane role. But people do not remember that Bad Betty was a main tank before they were an offlaner. They had a lot more experience on that, and as such, seeing them back on that main tank role, very fun to see. Funds gives them a lot of flexibility. They got that Samuro potential here. Funds is one of the most interesting players. Is the reason that Lily was actually played last season. Was great to see. Thank you, Squeaky Week. Good to see you. But ONYX Esports, they've got a lot of potential here. They've got a lot of power behind this roster. We'll have to see what they're able to do. Whereas Simplicity, they are running almost the exact same team as last time, but Collusion was basically eliminated from their pool in exchange for Jay. They wanted collusion, but there was some, well, kind of collusion about getting collusion back to Simplicity in exchange for swapping him for funds to ONYX. These are actually the two teams that got fined for collusions in the drafting setup. So it's interesting to see them going against each other on week 1. Let's see who actually came out on top through all those discussions that maybe bent the rules, maybe didn't, depending on what side of the fence you fall on that. But despite basically threatening to not play for any other teams that drafted him, Hosty was drafted back to Simplicity, so successful play there, bringing themselves back in. We have Cure once again on that off-lane role, but of course Cure can be, Lutano can be swapped onto the Hogger sometimes if we run with Zeratools. Last mention. Oh, they are showing us the map. There's stuff in the way of it, but it's better than last season. Improvements have been made. We're seeing Dragonshire as our first pick. The bans are going to be Battlefield of Eternity and Garden of Terror. It's a good job it is those maps, because if it was Sky Temple, Tomb of the Spider Queen, or Towers of Doom, I wouldn't be able to tell you. There's a donation bar in the way. But Dragonshire will be our first map chosen by ONYX Esports, which means we will be seeing the first pick going over to current champions Simplicity. Looking good. Looking good. Alrighty. Looking at previous matchups for these teams, we're only going by Season 2. Season 1 stats are out of the question in this case. Maps played, ONYX, 0% win rate on Dragonshire, yet to be played by Simplicity. They have not played Dragonshire this season. If we do, there we go, they moved the thing. If we do look back at their Season 1 play, though, for Dragonshire, we do see that they had a 60% win rate on it over 5 games. That is a 3-2 ratio. It looked pretty solid for them. We'll see which direction they choose to go with their drafts as we are preparing, hopefully now with these maps being shown, to head into the draft for game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are as excited as I am, making sure the volume is okay. Let me know what the volume is like. Again, we're just doing this via pure clean feed, so if I have to adjust it, I can do that, because it's literally a YouTube link. That's how we do these things. Alrighty. I am excited. Previous season champions, shaky start. Give me the dirty feed. The volume you're looking at right now is from me. There is... Okay, oh, there we go. There we go. Now we have in-game volume. So let me know what the in-game volume is like. The music you can hear is from my side. So let us get this going. On the right-hand side, it is going to be game is a bit quiet. We will turn that up. This is why we are glad we don't have to have a delay. There we go. Let me know how that is, and we will go from there. Rexar going to be removed from the side of Simplicity as they start us out. On the left, ONYX Esports, one of our new teams, getting ready to get this going. With Rexar already taken out of action, we prepare to roll ourselves in. Sorry, didn't get to the mute button that time. ONYX Esports, how do they start us off? We're going to see the Medivh getting banned away here. Very sensible. We noted their Simplicity are very strong with Medivh. And Simplicity, they're just going to ban out the heroes that win from ONYX. So far, Bad Betty has only won with that Nubarak. So as such, remove it from play, force him onto something else. The Rexar is very strong on this map, and it's a big counter to Sonya, who was not banned out, but Simplicity not picking up the Sonya yet. Instead, they start with Brightwing as their early pick. First pick, first ban. Immediately, ONYX, hyper aggro. They get the Hogger. Strong for that top lane. It's a bit reasonable counter to Sonya. Very solid first pickup for ONYX Esports here. And Karazim, very aggressive. Valamar's a very good Karazim. Gives them good dive potential, good damage. They can try and burst down Brightwing and heroes like that. It's a solid pickup here, and also potentially deals with heroes like that Sonya or Zeratul a little bit better. And Cassia to a degree, blocking out her auto attacks, but of course Cassia is more built in a Q style these days. We're back on May for Masquerade once again. 50% win rate so far. See if they can boost that up once again. It does also give them another blind, Snow Blind, the Q for Mei. Gives them a lot of options when it comes to dealing with that and just trying to add extra damage to that Cassia and great zoning potential. The Zeratul is banned out. Even though they have the Karazim, they're still not comfortable with it. Cure still left in the pool as well as Lutano. There's a lot of options here. Very smart picking up the Hogger, by the way, because if Cure did go for that Zeratul, Lutano very consistently does go for Hogger, so it's actually very smart to steal that away and then ban out the Zeratul, so they're limiting that pool. There's still Leoric left, but this is stuff that Simplicity basically lent on very heavily at the end of the last season, potentially to the point of not really getting their, not really playing much else, and not really getting punished for it in terms of bans. ONYX now, Chromie, Uther, all still available. There's the Chromie with Varian coming onto the board here. Anti-shields to deal with Mei. Anti-healing potentially to deal with Brightwing. Both good options against Mei. The anti-healing will prevent her healing in her cryostasis. The 0-0 is their matchups. That is their current score. 1-1-0-0 because they have yet to win single games. That's their total scores. Simplicity now. Their final two pickups. Need their offlane. Dahaka and Greybane. Lots of very heavy burst, but that's another very auto-attack-centric hero versus a Karazim with physical armor. It is a lot of burst, which might try and force Karazim into the palm. That might be their play, but they're going to parry Varian. This is interesting. Very interesting indeed. Varian might actually be... Honestly, I think ONYX is coming out very far ahead in this draft right now. The only big risk is Chromie right now because she is so vulnerable. And we see Phoenix. I'm not so sure about that. That's not too resistant to those auto attacks. Doesn't have any kind of physical armor or anything, but that shield can block quite a lot of the poke from Cassia. They have a lot of extra damage here. They got slows from Chromie. The DPS output between the two is absolutely insane, but that's another very vulnerable hero to what is a diving Greymane and Dahaka to try and blast people in that backline. I like ONYX's draft. I really, really do. I think they've come out very far ahead there. I realized I didn't have draft music on during that draft, so oops, sorry everybody. We'll put it on just before we head into the game. But very interesting. Very interesting indeed, ladies and gentlemen. It comes down to this first game in this best-of-5 series. Everything looks good from ONYX Esports, but those assassins are very squishy. They're against a Greymane, who is a big dive assassin. Cassia, who's got a lot of poke, but can dive with Fend as well. There's Dahaka for really good isolation. Mei for good zoning. This is gonna be difficult for ONYX Esports to keep those assassins alive, especially with their peeling being Varian and Hogger. Hogger's going to help a lot, but he dives the backline a fair amount in these fights, meaning he might struggle as the game goes on to actually make sure he's in the right position to get that zoning, leaving just Varian to stop the dive here. But overall, if we go just by general counters, it does seem like ONYX came out ahead, especially in terms of dealing with the front line. Let's jump into the game. Let's get this going, ladies and gentlemen. On the left-hand side, it shall be ONYX Esports with Valimar, Gotfilth, Uki, Bad Betty, and Funds. Running that Hogger Varian front line is very solid, good against the Mei. A little bit of spell power reduction, sorry. From that Hogger potentially there for them. On the right, current Season 1 champions. It is Simplicity with Hosty, Cure, Masquerade, Lutano, and Legacy running in here. They, of course, have Jay in their back pocket just in case. ONYX have 5 players after losing a player, losing Collusion, and unable to make any kind of swaps since then. Sorry, losing Copenhagen, not Collusion. Collusion was dropped by Storm. Starting off, we're going to be seeing the Lions more for Varian. Very much a go-to talent these days. Varian and Karazim, they were seeing if they could set a trap for the Dahaka, but no such luck. Instead, Funds loses a tower immediately. The Greymane race showing up hard, picking up a very big kill at this early stage of the game. Nicely done. Good start by the members of Simplicity, showing the aggression and again trying to interrupt the rotation. But it's the rotation. Both teams trying to trap on rotations, playing very similar styles, but it's Simplicity who come out ahead on it because they're the ones getting more push out of this. Now Benny wrapping around. Remember, doesn't have taunt yet, not level 4. proxying the wave. Valimar buys some time on this wave so that Bad Benny can see if he can make something happen with Funds, but Funds with no shield remaining and getting blinded. They're not going to get too much done here. It's a Blink heal it's a Blink Brightwing with that phase shift front wall desecrated from the side of Simplicity. ONYX's wall very much non-existent. Hogger doing Hogger things. This is a big advantage they will be able to get. And we're seeing top lane being focused a lot on by ONYX with bot lane Chromie versus Mei right now.
Inherit the Dragon Knight's power and lay waste to this forsaken kingdom.
Very interesting to see. Very interesting indeed. They don't get the stun onto Cure. What a drag catching Varian, but it's not enough DPS yet. 4-man gank up there. Not enough to take out that Dahaka. Lutano starting on the siege cap will need help with this. He can do it, but he wants some help when he comes out of it. I'll go with the aggro range, keeping everything normal. Regen from the side of Dahaka. Wants to play safe. Lots of pressure onto the top lane, trying to capitalize on that push with that Bruiser camp. But the D push from Simplicity working out well in their favor. And right now, Simplicity, they seem to be in control of this game at this stage. Anti-cleanse. We're seeing the cleanse cooldown reduction with the magic spit from Brightwing. They're going to want to cleanse very heavily. Want to make sure they always have it up to deal with that variant. Or we'll have to see if they're going to use it against the Hogger. There is the cleanse, but not enough to save Brightwing from the dive. Cure going to try and channel in. Bad Benny. Bad Benny. He's not going to interrupt it. They have to let that go. That's the first Dragonite of the game in exchange for first blood going over to Simplicity. Dahaka one in that Dragonite. We see standard builds for the Cassia. Auto attack base build, movement speed, and mobile offense coming in for these 4 Funds on that Phoenix. Wants to poke away as best as he can. And that Dragonite getting some pretty solid value. Second kill with level 4 on the board. Those taunts coming in clutch now. We're seeing ONYX picking up their second kill, but they're losing a lot of structures for this. Setting a trap, Chromie sees everything on the rotation. They realize they can't really get to Hosty yet. As such, they can't dive too deep on this. They're finally going to move it a little bit, put some pressure on. Not going to get much out of it. Uki holding the lead versus Legacy right now. Legacy was just making sure they got the XP while Dahaka was gone, making the most of that global. Very cool to see. Phoenix, full reset build. One of the most fun builds here. Every time you use that teleport, you get a big boost to attack speed. Every time you get a kill, you get the cooldown on your teleport back. Very, very fun to see. Gives you a hyper-aggressive playstyle on Phoenix and can be the highest damage output overall, utilizing that Warp Warfare. It can be really insane in terms of actual DPS. See how well they're able to utilize that. Continuing to pile on the pressure here, making it very difficult. That's going to be a Blizzard, stunning out Chromie. You can stay at range for a while, but there's only so much you can do. Brightwing was taken out, though, with the gank once again. ONYX playing hyper-aggressive, hunting kills here, but the structures, they're still losing more and more. Top, though, has taken a lot of damage as well. Snorlax, how's it going, buddy? Long time no see. Ladies and gentlemen, in the chat is Snorlax. They are the person who gave me my very first co-casting opportunity before I had the internet to be able to stream. Snorlax is the first person who gave me the chance to stream by casting the UK StarCraft 2 Open from ESL with them. So give him some love in the chat. As we are seeing Temporal Loop for the Chromie. Very smart. Deal with Brightwing. Yeah, you can cleanse, but you can't cleanse the Temporal Loop. It's not a full cleanse. It's the ground unstoppable. Cryostasis, though, will deny it. Cryostasis will deny the hyper aggro here. Hogger at level 10, yet to pick that level 10. At level 7, by the way, they went for Seeing Red. Getting that cooldown reduction in attack speed. They are going to go with the Hornipole. No surprise there. Stun onto Cure. Teleport from Funds. Getting the slows coming in, but Lutano will force the retreat. Again, Phoenix is still a little bit squishy. That mobile offense, that incredible movement speed getting from that level 4, really helping them stay out of danger. Funds playing very aggressive, but always has that target acquired to stay out of danger. Channeling in. Double channel this time available for ONYX as they see a big rotation up to top lane from Simplicity, trying to hold back. Good stun. But ONYX realizes they're a bit outnumbered, but the distraction is enough. Funds sneaks in the DK, and we will see this Dragon Knight going over to ONYX. Full trade out here. And right now, despite losing all those wolves early, ONYX Esports 3 kills to 1, looking to make it 4, trying to kill off that Dahaka. He's tanking Brightwing, a very ambitious teleport. Not going to be dropped off here. But Simplicity, despite getting all those wolves earlier, they seem to be struggling here, as they are the ones who are about to lose top lane. The Dragon Knight is going to take out the entirety of bottom wall. This is going pretty well for ONYX right now, with 7-sided now on the line. They have, of course, gone for that Warbringer for Varian, getting that cooldown reduction on the charge, and, of course, that ability to charge 2 allies to get out of danger. But more importantly, it means you still have 2 stacks of parry. Great against Greymane. Very solid here. They have gone for Purification Salvo, no new Planet Cracker. No surprises there. Let's see what they can do. Funds clean it up. With the help of that Hogger, they're going to be able to grab their own Bruiser Cap, mirrored on the other side by Simplicity. But this is a full level lead for ONYX, and the champions in this game number 1 are on the back foot here. With Temporal Loop, 7-sided strike, there's so much blow-up potential. Adudium plating for the Phoenix, giving armor on those teleports. This is going to help against that Greymane. Good map awareness by Simplicity. You're going to back away, not get caught out. Pummel coming in for Hogger, that spell power reduction we talked about earlier, going to help out. We're seeing percentage damage. We talked about the options to counteract the Mei here from the side of Varian. The potential for either blowing up the shield or dropping the anti-healing. Instead, they go for the percentage damage. There's the salvo coming out. Won't actually get too much done. Godfill, time now, dodges Cure. Ice Wall will catch one, though. That's a bad position for them to be in, but it's Karazim. Isolation landing right after they dash away, and as such, Valimar able to escape. What an engage from both these teams there. Simplicity going very heavily in, but ONYX able to get everyone out. Using the vision, they see the triangle is clear, and they are going in. It's the Corridor of Doom for Uki, and that will be a secured camp steal for ONYX Esports. ONYX putting on a beautiful performance in their first series of CCL proper. Looking very strong. Simplicity, they have some really good late game though. Greymane is still equally as strong. Cassia gets big power spikes, big dive, percentage damage across the board. But the blink from Legacy with the phase shift is enough. Masquerade saved. What a beautiful play. Very nicely done coming in there from Legacy to save Masquerade. Legacy is potentially one of the best tanks in the lead. That's a good cursed bullet. There's the bounce. Uki, he gets away! Unbelievable play. There's the drag. Polymorph, and that's a blow up onto Karazim. That's going to be Simplicity beginning to snowball themselves into a bit of a lead. Ice Wall cuts off Gutfeld. Salvo. The time trap buys Chromie some time, but she goes down. 2 kills going over to the side of Simplicity. Let's see that again. What a play here. You see the drag, cursed bullet, big dive, slows from Phoenix, eats the isolation, Hornipult out with the perfect bounce to escape, but it's too late by that point. The rest of the team comes in, makes the play. Hogger did just die in the actual game as well. Double channel comes in, and Simplicity have just got themselves a massive snowball of potential. They've caught up in experience, and they are back in this game. As they begin pushing in, they are going to grab themselves their first fort of the game, and likely their second, with Bot being relatively undefended. Taunt came in onto Hosty, down a member. They're 4v4ing this. Secondary charges, that cooldown reduction. Ice Wall, Karazim 7-sided, but Masquerade eats the shots. They have to retreat. In the meantime, the Dragon Knight did get control of Bot, keeping full push going. Phase shift once again coming in from Legacy, keeping the pressure on Hosty. Healed back up after all that burst. That extra 8% max health from that level 1 phase shift talent on Brightwing really helping out here. Trying to move in. Blizzard does not land. Everyone is back alive here. Chromie continuing to siege. 2 forts to 1 right now in favor of Simplicity. They are back in, but they're still behind in experience. But of course, that XP over time, passive XP from the forts being taken down, will slowly creep them into a lead. Double spell power boosts for the side of ONYX Esports. Varian with that Banner of Dalaran, giving them big blow-up potential with the extra spell power there. Chromie going with the often lesser picked Quantum Overdrive. Very interesting. Going with that extra 30% ability power. There's big burst potentials, and I guess if they're going for a maximum blow-up team, makes sense for them to do so. Gonna start on their own siege camp. Bruiser not started by Simplicity, so they're actually behind on this rotation. Channel it through. Offensive cadence for the Phoenix here, giving them that percentage damage. Cursed Bullet, burned on Uki, tanking through towards 7-sided. Team makes their way in. Time Trap buys them some time though. Lot of damage coming out from Fuzz. He's murdering his way through, but gets caught in the Blizzard. May is down though. Uki made it over the Blizzard to chase through over the wall with the reset from the kills. Fuzz melts through. Hosty, Bad Benny looks for another, cannot find it. And that was ONYX absolutely tearing them apart, finding the engage onto the May, forcing the split right down the center of that big channel fight on the jungle. And we see ONYX come out ahead using that mobility of Kharazim, of Hogger, of Phoenix to their advantage, whereas Simplicity just didn't have the ability to get over the walls there and got completely punished for it. Fort goes down, structures evened up, but it looks like we're about to see a lead taken by ONYX Esports as they will grab the last remaining fort of Simplicity. 16 seconds until the DK. Everyone from Simplicity will be back, and they're finally going to pick up their Bruiser. This will give them a little bit of counter pressure, buy them some time. In the meantime, Siege Giants on the bot lane pushing in. Trap in the jungle set by ONYX. They wanted to see if they could grab anyone on the rotation. Double channel is available, and it looks like we may just see Simplicity just let this go and play defensively. Good vision, good scouting. Don't face check by Masquerade. He knows that even he isn't safe at this point. Going to make their way in. And ONYX Esports looking very strong right now. ONYX pushing in the bot lane. Top Hogger does have to deal with that. There is a Bruiser Cap up there using the Ooh, I don't think he got the angle right on the insta bounce there. In fact, he did not. No infinite bounce coming in. So as such, this Dragon Knight not getting much value. It's a 4 versus 5. So no push from ONYX. They're just having to back away a bit here. Hogger believes that the Bruiser Cap has been killed enough to be ignored and will make their way back down. Even more percentage damage, by the way, on Hogger with that headbanger. A little bit of percentage damage if he stuns people with that knockback. Making their way in. Full 5 now. They've got 30 seconds left on this Dragonite. They're definitely not going to get a keep with it, but they can certainly set themselves up to do so. Big damage onto Dragonite. Remember, it's Chromie in this. They can't afford to have Chromie be too far forward when it expires. Cursed Bullet burned. Hogger already out. What a bounce. Chromie is currently the furthest back. Not the ideal position. Bad Benny and Uki immediately react, reposition themselves to make sure that they are in between Chromie and any potential kill.
His strength was never yours to keep.
And there we go. Level 20. Grabbed by ONYX. They don't get themselves a keep. Emergency shielding for the Phoenix. The emergency shielding protocol. They've got that glory to the Alliance. Extra healing. Very smart. No control for Hogger, no surprise there. Pierce for Chromie, and Transgression for the Kharazim. Even more percentage damage, those extra kicks on that 7-sided strike. Making their way forward. Gonna try and put some pressure onto the towers. They still want this keep. They can now have Chromie a little bit further back. Big damage onto Masquerade. That Banner of Dalaran really hurting, and you can see that overdrive being used by Chromie as well. Blizzard comes out, quick retreat. They've got a Siege Giant, they've got Siege Giants and a Catapult here, so they're just trying to put some pressure on. On the other side, Dahaka Just grabbing some split soak XP. They needed 20. They now have it. Invisible Friends. Contagion. That's the game-changing heroic there. If they could land that Contagion, it could all be over. Hunter's Blunderbuss. Shatter. Really strong for Wombos here. And that Infinite Ball Lightning. It is so ridiculous in terms of the actual damage output you can get in the late game, especially seeing as each bounce reduces the cooldown of that Ball Lightning for Cassia. It can 100% change a game.
My beloved is gone, but his power remains. Control the shrines and make use of it.
Everything cleaned up. Excuse me. A little bit of pressure being applied. Trap is set. Benny in position. Hogger is near enough that they can join in this engage if they want to, but vision was gained from somewhere. Catapult revealing it, using the banner for vision. See if anyone came in. Rotation for simplicity. Clearing out the bruiser camp. That does leave bottom keep open, and we immediately see ONYX making their way down there. We're going to have to see ports coming out of Simplicity to deal with this, because with parry, Varian can run it in. They decide against it, though. They lost vision of the enemy team. But it's smart to do. If they saw a fort going down, they could have traded that. They forced a reaction, and that's still going to be worth it for the side of ONYX here. Uh-oh, May is very separated from the team. They see Hosty. Holderpult splits the team into Hosty. Charge towards Brightwing coming in, but the Ice Wall cuts the team in two, buying a huge amount of time here. There's the Hog Wild coming out, trying to buy them the time in. This is Chromie's the first to blow up in for the Ball Lightning onto Bam Benny. Funds was completely isolated by Lutano. Funds went back in, but there's so many reinforcements coming in. He's completely separated. Hogger went down. Varian goes down. Emergency shield and comes out. Hunter's Blunderbuss eating through ONYX, and Simplicity have been able to take the fight. They don't find the final 2 kills. The keep went down, but that was a massacre in favor of Simplicity. The Ice Wall, perfect. They found everything, and Chromie completely trapped, complete concave engage there by Simplicity, finding everything. Funds thinking he could kill Lutano, but Legacy and Masquerade coming out of nowhere to chase them down as well. The core is under attack. 20 seconds left on the spawn timers, and ONYX, who had full control of this game, are going to lose game number 1. Season 1 champion Simplicity take game number 1 and go 1-0 up in this best of 5 series. Very nicely done. That is going to be Simplicity taking game number 1. Ice Wall with Shatter at the end, splitting the team in 2. Legacy with the perfect reaction coming in for Cassia to save the day, to buy the time. And it came down to that. 8 kills to 7. A close game. XP was pretty even both ways, but overall it did look like ONYX were in control. But it only took one fight. One fight where we saw a win coming out. I'm curious if we saw a isolation with Contagion coming in that game. Keep a look out for silences. It doesn't look like we did. We didn't really get an isolation, but it didn't matter. The cooldown's up, but it doesn't look like we hit anyone. But in the end, it came down to the fact that we saw an insane performance from both of these teams, back and forth, but Shatter at the end, the dive coming through and able to find Gotfelth. We talked about it right at the start, before the game happens. The lack of peeling potential for ONYX there is actually what messed them up. They had so much potential. If they'd been able to get their kill, that could have been game over. But because the kill wasn't quick enough, the second the hard engage came in, all of those engage tools that we saw ONYX use to try and kill Cassia are also their peeling tools. And we suddenly see that they have nothing to protect Chromie. Very exciting. Very interesting. Came down to that, and as such, Simplicity take game number 1 in this best of 5 series. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying this casting, be sure to drop a subscription or a donation while I take a drink, because I am thirsty. Let's put it that way around so I don't actually bump the mic with it. Again, I apologize for the fact that my throat probably sounds weird and I'm coughing quite a bit. Because I'm still on the side effects of anesthesia, anesthetist. What anesthetist gives anesthesia? Yeah, anesthetic, anesthetic. Anesthetic, I'm still on the side effects of that and having a tube down my throat. So, as such, I'm still feeling a little bit under the weather, as it were. So I'm kind of just having to deal with that because I had my appendix out because it decided it would be a really good idea last Wednesday to explode. So, that's why I sound a little weird. That's why I'm coughing a little bit, and I apologize for that. I'm trying to mute myself each time, but I'm not always fast enough. Yeah, it's a little bit rough. It's a little bit rough. That was my question, where they were like there was a lot of questions of just like, all right, so don't do any strenuous activity, and I was like, is commentating hype plays strenuous? Because if so, uh-oh. This is going to be a problem. And they basically said anything that tends to your stomach, and I was like, uh-oh. But we got a swing. Thank you for gifting a sub to Sergeant Johnny. Sergeant, how you doing? Is that how you put? Is that? I keep seeing like people apparently salute like that or something. I don't know. I don't know military stuff. I know nothing about that. All I know is that you focus the lieutenant, Mocus Feralis. All right, we're waiting to see what our next map is going to be. Thank you, Swing, for the gifted sub. It is very appreciated. Considering I haven't streamed in ages and we're already up to 40 subs, y'all are amazing. That is incredibly appreciated, as we already have our second map of the day. Sky Temple is being chosen by simplicity, meaning that we have ONYX opting for first pick and first ban. You will also notice I'm wearing black shirts at the moment, and that is because if my wounds open up, I don't want to get blood on my shirts. Oh dear. Sorry, that's a little gross, but it's the truth. You now know all of my tribulations behind the stream. Behind the scenes. Sky Temple is the map. Solid choice. Lots of potential there. You're a chap to stream after being in the hospital. Yep, I appreciate that. I was very, very determined I was gonna do it. Like they're like, I was like, how long will I be here after surgery? And they're like, yeah, anywhere between 1 day and 3 days, and I was like, can we make that like closer to the 2 days? Because if I'm here an extra day, I'll miss CCL. They had no idea what I was on about. Also, just so people know, as I'm sure a couple people here have experienced, because there's a couple people have been working up the. Excuse me, I'm sure a couple people have been here who are here have commented in the past. I don't know if you've ever tried to describe what you do as a job to a total stranger. It's not easy. It's hard. It's even harder when that person is currently drawing on your stomach. It's really hard to describe to someone what you do when they're currently sticking a needle in your arm, which I already have a phobia. It's not really easy. It's not easy to do. You just kind of have to deal with it as best as you can and explain just like, okay, so you know like sports commentators? I do that, which is also true. I do still commentate like the sports stuff on Fiverr. I had to turn that back on. I turned it off while I was in the hospital. Exactly. That's what I've had to do, Softbur. But people don't look at it and just say, people look at it, coming at games like Sportscast and video games. Yes, you explained that, but that leads to follow-up questions. Like, do people actually watch that? And then you have to explain like what LCS is, and like, oh, do people earn money from this? And you have to explain what the international is, and it's really, it leads down so many paths of chaos and problems. It's difficult to talk about. All right, we should hopefully be getting into draft. Coming up soon. You hate needles as well, and blood. I can deal with blood. I just can't deal with needles. They're absolutely. I have two phobias, and I'll just admit these to streams now. These are my two biggest fears: jellyfish and needles. Those are my two biggest fears. I don't know why. I don't know why at all. Needles, I can understand. They're usually syringes. They can put stuff in you that should not be in you. I don't. That is scary. And of course, I still get my vaccines. I'm not an idiot, but. It's still rough. It's still rough, but jellyfish is an illogical one. Yeah, it stings you, but most of them are harmless. Like, they might hurt, but it's alright. It doesn't even think. It's not malicious. It's not... They're not malicious. They're not mean. They're literally floating trash bags of pain. And for some reason, they terrify me. They're the scariest things to me. Show me a jellyfish and I'll show you a door that I'm going through. I can maybe deal with them at the aquarium because they're in water prison. But outside of that, if I see one in the ocean or a river, I ain't going anywhere near that water's edge. Not anymore. Whew. Alrighty. Where's our second draft, ladies and gentlemen? We need a draft so that we can get going. Oh dear. We're up to 42 subs. Thank you everyone very much for your support. This is absolutely awesome. We're getting ready to jump into game number 2, hopefully soon. So we basically need a jellyfish emote. I have a single emote slot left. I have one emote slot left. We need to drop so we can stop talking about jellyfish. Yes! Exactly. No! I've never been stung by a jellyfish. I've been stung by a wasp. I'm not scared of wasps. I mean, I'm scared of them, but I'm not, like, phobia level terrified. I won't, like, see a wasp and go, oh god, time to leave. But it's absolutely terrifying. Who's playing? It is ONYX Esports for Simplicity. Simplicity are currently 1-0 up. We are literally just, here's the table so that you can see what is going on and what our matches for tonight are. We're doing ONYX versus Simplicity right now. Then we'll be going to Wild Heart Esports versus Chili Mountain. Also, I have just realized from this screen, despite the fact that we already know that CCL doesn't like dark mode, we also do have the fact that this is very clearly just a screen cap of their production stuff. They didn't even make its own overlay. So, fair enough. Yeah, a healthy and respectful fear of wasps. Exactly. That's very reasonable. That's a reasonable fear. But jellyfish, a wasp will sting me if I trap it or if I aggravate it. They're very reasonable to be scared of. And jellyfish, it's not even minding its own business. It has no business. It's 90% water. Stupid frickin' pain trash bags. I hate them. I legitimately hate jellyfish. They are the worst thing. The worst thing on this planet is jellyfish. Maybe below racism, but they're close to the bottom. Let's get this going. Let's get this going. We're starting off with game number 1. Okay, so it looks like these 0-0 things at the top are matchup scores, if I had to guess. 0-0. It's weird that they have them on for the first day, but here we go. Lucio gonna be banned out. We know how strong Cleanse is with that high 5. Sonya also getting removed here. Ignored completely in the first game, but it's gonna pop up this time as a ban. Excuse me. ONYX now. Secondary ban. Falstad potentially could be available. Gonna take out that Hogger with Sonya removed. Hogger really gains priority as one of those top offlaners. There are 2 offlaners who really have a really good matchup into Sonya, and those are Hogger once he hits level 13, right before Sonya hits level 16, and the Rexar. But Rexar on this map is a little bit sketch. Well, Chili Mountain have already won one less game. They've already won. Chili Mountain have already won one less game than they won the entirety of last season, so they're doing pretty good. Going to be seeing that Brightwing taken out, removing more global potential. That leaves ONYX a first pick. Support-wise, Stukov would be the next go-to. Uther has been left open again, but this time they go for Dadadubrak. It's worked for Bad Benny in the Icebreaker. Does open up Simplicity to go very heavily into the auto-attackers, Raider, Greymane, all heroes that can give a Dubrak a bad time. Even Cassia to a degree. There's that Grey main. And there's Uther. Now, this could, of course, be a main tank Uther, which is currently being hovered by Masquerades. There's a good chance it is. Or they could last-second swap it to support Uther. This isn't really the map we usually see main support Uther on. That would be almost exclusively BOE most of the time. But it does still happen. But they've already set themselves up with a nice setup here. Multiple cleanses with the option for Hand of Protection. And if they want a Divine Shield, can really shut down Anubarak engages. If not, Divine Storm can also give Anubarak a bad time. There is that Stukov. Stukov Uther is the go-to support combo. Then it's Stukov, then it's Uther with the Lucio. So very, very solid there. Sylvanas coming in for funds. That gives him a lot of snowball potential. They now have Beetles and the Black Arrows. Their push potential is kind of insane right now. They also have the Biotic Armor for Stukov, one of the few pieces of physical armor in the game that does not specify that the physical armor only works against hero basic attacks, meaning it's one of the few pieces of just physical armor that works on Fords, meaning that it adds to their push potential as well, because it gives them a little bit of extra tankiness, neutralizing some of the Fort's armor reduction. Zeratul banned away once again. Cure, still scary, holding that threat over from last season. Simplicity. They have Greymane, they have Uther. Where do they go from here? D.Va gives them a lot of good rotation potential, a lot of disruption for that Anubarak. Very sensible. Potential to double soak later on. It's a solid pickup. D.Va is decent. Also potential for big auto attack damage. If you go for the upgrade to your Q at level 16, your auto attack damage will actually give you really high DPS output and can really melt through an Anubarak. Very cool to see. That is incorrect, Majesty. They now have specified on each ability, whereas multiple abilities will say armor against the next hero basic attack, or the next hero, or the next hero instance of hero damage, compared to the, Stukov, who says physical armor. It specifies on each abilities. For example, Maiev, she gets physical armor against the next instance of hero damage, or physical armor against heroes, whereas Stukov, it is general physical armor. Falstad will come in, giving them that global potential against Abathur. Gut Filth on that Abathur, going to be trying to get them that extra soak. A little bit of split push value here. This does mean it's a solo support Uther coming in here. Very interesting. Let's get this going. We're getting ready for game number 2. I've just realized that Majesty, I think, was actually saying what I just said, so I apologize, Majesty. If I misconstrued what you're saying, I think you were actually just saying the same thing I was. So my apologies there. But we're getting ready, ladies and gentlemen, for game number 2 of this best of 5 series between Simplicity and ONYX. There's physical, spell, AA, and all over armor, which is really confusing. Yes, exactly. The fact that physical armor is technically sometimes only against hero AAs is very, very weird. It's what are we supposed to do? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have game number 2. If you're enjoying today's casting, please consider dropping a subscription or a donation. CCL does not pay me to do this. I do it because I love it. I will be casting 1 week on, 1 week off when it comes to live games, and all the games I do not cast as they are happening in CCL will be cast during the week on this channel as well. On the right, Simplicity 1-0 up, hosting Masquerades, Cure, Legacy, and Lutano. On the left, ONYX with Valamar, Gotfilth, Uki, Funds, and Bad Benny. Look at the Sky Temple. It is time for game number 1.
Go fight. Do whatever it is you do.
Let's start this going. Is there everyone allowed to cast CCL games? No, JB. There is an application process you go through to become a co-streamer. It is something done via CCL. You have to ask to have permission to co-stream, and if they give you permission, you're allowed to co-stream under their rules. I believe you can still apply, so if you want to cast, I highly recommend it. It's fun. A little bit of damage being dealt to Bad Benny on the straight off, starting off with that Legion of Beetles. Good dodge with the barrel roll by Hosty. They turn their attention onto Bad Benny. It's the auto attack build from Hosty. They're trying to focus in. Charge coming in from Cure, but intercepted by the knockup of that Anubarak. Lutano getting some good damage onto that bottom lane. Symbiote build for the Abathur. I kind of figured they'd go for a split push build, but no, symbiotes. Unless you come from Sony, in which case symbiote. They begin clearing their way through. Getting a little bit of attention off that bottom lane, buying themselves some time as siege camps being taken by both teams. Much faster by Simplicity. So this time Simplicity a little bit ahead on the rotation. Last time it was a pretty solid lead for ONYX. Right now, Abathur just holding against Diva with Leo holding mid lane. No immediate double soak yet. That's a good burrow charge into Lurking Arm, but Funds trading the aggro onto Masquerade. Not going to turn it onto Lutano. It was a 3 versus 4, so their chances of a kill, not the highest. So they're just going to leave that and let it go. Oh my. The invade. Uki interrupts the Bruiser camp, has forced the leash. And that's quite a lot of health regained there. Diva's not the fastest camp clearer. That will buy them some time. They pressure forward. Good dodge. Bad Benny. Beetles chasing down Hosty. Beetles actually going to leash the minion wave a bit. That will buy them some time. Hammer Gates now on Hosty will give them a lot more sustain. Sin's exposed for Masquerade. Going to add a little bit of extra DPS. Legacy looking for the opportunity to step forward. It's still gone for an auto-attack based build. Stun cooldown reduction despite being the main healer. We're not going to see them potentially work their way into what we have seen a couple times, which is the Wave of Light build. No Bruiser Camp mirror for ONYX here, meaning Leo's kind of stuck dealing with this for a bit. Does have Syndix, does have that Neil Peasants. Will buy them some little bit of extra time there. Cure eating a lot of damage. Masquerade will duel Bad Betty. Here comes Stukov. Lots of extra damage dealt, but the healing from Legacy, topping them back up slowly.
Guardian.
Looks like we're going to see mid-temple under the control of ONYX, whereas top, now with a Bruiser Camp pushing in with it, is actually under control of Simplicity. This is much better for Simplicity, to the point where we're going to see Valamar making their way up to top lane to try and react and help out with this. Temple is actually going to be abandoned. Sylv finds the kill. Funds taking out Falstad. Funds making the most of that Sylv power. And there's still going to be, by the looks of it, most of mid-temple achieved by ONYX, despite the fact that they never stopped pushing bot lane, at least until just now. Got felt still soaking away. Finally, Funds will arrive with the team. And we're seeing a hesitations at a move onto top, but those shots are about to expire. 3 shots left. It's still possible to grab the final 5. Funds has made their way in. Valamar escaping with the hat. Here comes Hosty. Lots of damage onto Funds. Forces a retreat. Uki's backing up. Bad Betty in the bush, but the shots have already been taken. Once you're down to 2 shots, it's already too late. There's the burrow charge. Lutano picks up the kill, but will go down in exchange, but got Funds as well on the way out. Bad Betty trying to hold, but numbers-wise, very in favor of Simplicity here, as Bad Betty barely alive. No fort to retreat to, but Valamar and Betty will back away. And through all of that, XP-wise, we are going to see it's going to be Simplicity who come out half a level ahead there, grabbing that fort, giving them a huge lead here. A little bit of damage is done. Bruiser Camp going to be cleaned away here. We're not going to go full Beetle build for Betty here. No leeching Scarabs. Instead, go with that chitinous plating. A little bit of extra armor there. Another attempted invade. Nothing as of yet. Falstad going with the extra boomerang damage. Massacre going to try and sneak out. Drops the Iron Skin. Easily gets away. Another good knock up there from Betty. Funds has Haunting Wave. Also easily able to get out. Good retreat by the members of ONYX here. Very nicely done. It's a burst spell power build from Funds here. There are two real builds for Sylvanas these days. Percentage damage builds, where you just try to kill singular tanks, and the spell power build, where you just try to melt through people and do a little bit of AoE damage. You basically get the spell power increased from your Q, your Withering Fire. You then can... Oh, hang on, Bad Betty in a little bit of trouble. Absolutely dunked. Didn't even have a chance. But use the spell power you get from your Might of the Banshee Queen at level 1. This increases the damage of your Lost Souls, which is your level 7, which already increases your W's damage as is. You then get increased attack speed from that Might of the Banshee Queen. Each auto attack decreases the cooldown of your Shadow Dagger from your Lost Souls, meaning that every time you cast a full Q, you get massive damage output and cooldown reduction on that damage output. Very simple combo, one of the simplest Sylph builds, very fun to see. Bot currently under the control of Simplicity. Gonna make their way forward. Hosty took a big chunk of damage, but it's still going. Cursed Bullet is missed. Divine Shield had to be dropped, as is Gust. But here comes the Clone Godfill, cloning the Nubarak to dive on in. Cocoon is dropped onto Diva, as they will take out Greymane. They've trapped Legacy completely. Legacy goes down. And that was a very successful dive in there by ONYX, getting a huge play. Why do we see the team comms thing? We don't get to hear that. That is really odd, but okay. We're going to see the clear come out. They get full control there. Mule healing back up the fort. Hang on, I'll do my best impression of the team comms. Hey, Godfill, that was a really good dive right there. Nicely done. Oh, hey, thanks, Benny. That was pretty good. Oh, Funds! What are you doing, Funds? We were in the lead. What are you doing? Oh, it's fine. We'll make the comeback. You got that kill earlier. It's fine. It's a reasonable trade. Oh, hang on. Guys, just trying to invade our camp. They've got bombed. We can still fight it, though. Can we fight it? We don't have our main range damage, and they have everyone here. All right, well, let's at least force them to react to this so that they don't get as much soak off this as we would. All right, comms over. Uki's forced to back up. Simplicity getting that kill onto Funds, though, really has given them a lot of momentum once again. And this is the story of both games so far, with Simplicity being a little bit behind at the start and then finding a way, or being behind at one point and then getting 1 or 2 kills, and suddenly they're back in the game. Boss being taken. Benny, he could dive it. He sees it. Is he going to try? Benny! The tomb is good! Uki, he's on it, but it was seeing Diva. She's holding the line. She's pulling off Uther, trying to hold. Gast off the point, and that's going to be the secure. Benny is trying to run, but Lutano gets the kill. Traded out for Diva mech. Divine Shield comes down. Godfill's in deep on that Anubarak clone, but the Gust gets the kill. That's going to be the boss going in for Simplicity, and we're seeing Funds left to clean that out. The stun. I think I caught the stun. Let's have a look. Keep an eye out on Bad Benny here. No, I missed the stun. Oh, well. But very nice to see there. They stunned out Benny, preventing him from burrow charging onto the objective. Such a good attempt. The Entomb was so good, but it just wasn't enough here. We're going to see another Entomb is burned. Lutano trying to escape. Here comes Diva still with another self-destruct, holding the line with the knockback. Good to go. Flailing swipe knocks the mech away. Valamar holds the line. Hosty going to be forced to port back to base. Vision is currently acquired of them because they stood in the mine, but no one near enough to punish them for it. Wave clears coming out from the members of Simplicity, grabbing themselves their own bruiser cap. They got a couple shots of top, forcing the reaction out of ONYX, who their keeps are now under pressure. Look at top lane, just completely untouched. 3 forts still available for Simplicity. They've got so much time here. We're seeing Black Arrows and Beetles being burned. A hyper commitment just to try and get some damage and get 2 forts out of this, but they might be trading a keep for it. Diva is split soaking. Siege camps being gated. This is going to be 2 forts for what will likely be a keep and a big chunk of mid-wall. This is a massive lead being achieved. Oh, counter siege. They have Beetles. They have Black Arrows. They have to port. It's Greymane. There's potential core damage that could come in here. There's the retreat. Anoob's going to stay, buy them at least a little bit more push potential. But they had to port back. It was not worth the risk of staying. They could have been caught out there. Posty finishes off that temple.
The magic of the temple.
One keep in exchange for 2 forts and a big chunk of bot fort. It's not the worst situation for ONYX, but they are still very far behind at this point. Clearing out as best as they can. Both teams going to be soaking up. This is going to be a little bit easier for ONYX because bot lane is going to be getting those catapults now. They're going to get some extra wave clear there. Difference is they don't have anywhere really to retreat to. Bruiser camp up in top lane is actually kind of good news for D.Va. There's no really big objective yet, so there's no real reason for Simplicity to try and force a fight at this stage. Looks like they might still try, though. D.Va's hovering around. Currently double soaking, gaining the advantage that way. Uki, who has gone for that mithril mace, needs to be very careful. They don't know. They don't know. Uki! Oh, Legacy showed. Here's Benny. There's the Entomb. Hosty. He's holding the trap. Turns around and goodbye funds. And that's all the damage output once again. As long as they get funds each time, these fights go very, very heavily in favor of Simplicity. That's twice now they pulled off the same play. They get Valimar. They're going to get Uki. Bad Benny has to retreat here. Gets the speed boost, the adrenal overload from that Abathur hat, and suddenly the core is under pressure once again. Simplicity set the trap, execute, and Benny, he's trying to delay, trying to buy time, which is working. We're seeing Simplicity start to hesitate. 10 seconds left until Sylve, and instead they're just going to put pressure onto mid and try and grab themselves another keep at the temple. They're a little bit scared. Leo will be back soon. 7 seconds left. The spawn time is still a little too low here to end the game. In the meantime, Top Bruiser actually got some pretty good pressure up there. I'd love to be able to see that, but we're not going over there, apparently. We need to see Valimar running all the way from base. There we go. Cure's going to be clearing this out.
My magic flows through the
That will prevent keep pressure. Benny in full retreat. Doesn't want to get himself caught out. Leo has cleared bot lane enough to buy them some time to fight over this without catapult pressure on the core. This is a 5 versus 5. Pre-level 20. This is kind of their best chance to make something happen. Ultimate Evolution back up just now. This is their chance. Who do we clone? Are we still back onto Benny? Entomb does not land. Blessed Shield comes out. Uki gets melted by the micro missiles. Clone comes onto Godfit, comes onto Funds this time. They're going to Sylve clone as they push their way forward. Self-destruct going to come out. Funds wrapping around from the side. Uki looking low, team split into Benny eats the shots as we're seeing Godfilth loses that Sylve clone. Down goes Valimar. Team split completely into, and this is likely game. The keep went down. Boss is available. We are going to see Simplicity take full control as they will rush on in and begin work on that boss. This isn't an impossible fight for the members of ONYX, and it's a fight they really have to take. They have Wailing Arrow. This is their saving grace. Bad Benny. There is no self-destruct on the point. Entomb up in 2 seconds. They don't get on the point. Boss is taken. Uki's dead. And that's likely it. Sylve still alive, though. That's all their damage output, but they won't have Leo for a bit. Stukov will be back, but they need Race. Clone up in 20 seconds. Fun's trying to clear out as best they can. Bad Betty trying to delay, trying to distract, summon Beetles, buy some time, burrows away, but that boss is full health. The Gust with Wind Tunnel splits the team, forcing them away from the core. A Simplicity, there is the Entomb, but it's far too late with Divine Shield onto the Greymane. The core goes down. Game number 2 goes over to Simplicity. Current Season 1 champions, continuing to hold momentum, continuing to show they've got the stuff, and that they are prepared to go all the way for a 2nd season in a row. We'll have to see if they can do it. We can see on this side, 6 kills for ONYX. They tried their best, but we saw 3 deaths on Sylve, tied the most of Leoric. And that's what it came down to. Being able to isolate the main damage output of ONYX and kill them off. The Leo is good here. But with this particular game, a more reliable damage offlaner might have been the case here. Very interesting to see. Sonya was banned out. Sonya might have been really solid in that position. Just something that can hyper carry when Sylve dies. But it didn't have any options like that. Excuse me. This doesn't have anything to do with CCL, but today is the 13-year anniversary of Steiner Math. That is a legitimately interesting fact. I love it. Absolutely marvelous. I do love a bit of Steiner Math because I am a genetic freak. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. We are down to our game number 3. If ONYX can't get a comeback, if they can't get a comeback here, then this will end in a 3-0 for Simplicity. Our Season 1 champions will start off the season in a solid first place. We'll have to see if they're able to do that, if they're able to secure this victory. Exciting to see. Very, very exciting. ONYX, they are not out yet. The main stream has gone on a quick break. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to join them. And when we get back, hopefully, we will have game number 3. Normally, I wouldn't take a break because the main stream takes far too many breaks. But in this case, I am feeling a little bit rough. So what I'm going to do is quickly jump to a break myself. And when we come back, it will be time for game number 3. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment. welcome
Depends on
back,
if they can
everybody.
refine their
I realize
footing,
I
if
have the
they're
main stream on. There it goes. Alrighty, so welcome back to HeroesCCL. Sorry, I had to refill up my water. And we do already have our maps decided. We are heading to Tomb of the Spider Queen. And it's going to be picked by ONYX Esports. Interesting. Opting for map pick as opposed to first pick. Very interesting to see. We'll see if that works out for them. So we're preparing to head into what could be the last map of this series. Very fun to see. Here's a reminder of the matches we have today. We're going to be having ONYX Esports versus Simplicity Esports. Those will be our first two matches. This is the one we are currently watching. 2-0, currently in favor of Simplicity. On the other side, Wildheart Esports, and they'll be playing against Chili Mountain. That will be happening directly after this, minus the mainstream going on one of its many breaks. Which I am currently joining them for, because I'm feeling a little under the weather at the moment, as you might have had a guess. So, we're just getting ready, waiting for the mainstream to send us into the game. Currently, as a reminder, this is Season 1 Champion Simplicity versus the new team of ONYX. And ONYX have looked pretty good in these last games. However, it's really come down to the same thing pretty much every single time. Of Simplicity seem to always be getting those last team fights. And I'm curious to see if there's any differences that are going to be made by ONYX to make changes to try and work around that. Also, if you don't like my big old mop of hair, that's going away on the 7th, so next week, I will hopefully have nicer hair. I'm going to embrace the molding and go for a hairstyle that is more complemental to my receding hairline, as it were. I've got too much testosterone or some rubbish excuse. I don't bloody know. It's hair. It's on my head. Some of it's gone away. Some of it's still here. Who cares? Alrighty. Let's get ready to jump into, hopefully, game number 3 very shortly. Tomb of the Spider Queen is the map, so we're going to be looking at heroes with solid wave clear. Johanna still stays quite high up in priority. I like you too, Jixie Cat. Jixie Cat saying some very nice stuff in the chat. Oh yeah. I don't know why I did that face on it. Just like, take that. Yeah, I like you. Take that. That's what you get. All right. Alrighty. We're just waiting for the draft to set up so that we can jump on into our lobby. By lobby, I mean clean feed, so that we can get these games started. Hope you're enjoying yourself. By the way, we will be jumping into the second series after this as well. We will be running restreams or reruns of this stream directly after it is finished, unless we have someone to raid. So if you miss the games, they will be rerun throughout the series, and also you can watch them on YouTube. YouTube.com/Tetcher. We are currently aiming for 4,000 subscribers this year. We are already up to over 3,400, meaning that we are almost there. So if a couple more people head over there and subscribe to YouTube.com/Tetcher, you can help us reach our goal over there. We have some wonderful content, including all the VODs from the streams. We also have the Stormwatch News, which is Heroes of the Storm Esports News, hosted by myself and Jixie Cat. New episodes every Tuesday. VODs of these casts, and of course VODs of Heroes Global Quiz, which it will be returning soon. Varian is going to be removed. We saw the early game just murder potential from ONYX in game number 1. Simplicity don't want to deal with it. That's the power of Varian. Just win the early game. We're seeing Medivh banned out. With Varian gone, Medivh would have been very scary to deal with. It's a small map as well, so those portals can really help you get around. Simplicity now. What do they choose to do? They're going to remove the Cassia. Strong hero. Remove that big DPS output. Moving that big DPS output gives them a lot of potential just to try and deal with the... try and force them onto something that might be a little bit easier to blow up. Lucio going to get removed once again, and it's going to be another Uther. Currently being played by Masquerade, so that could be, again, main tank or main healer, like we saw last game, played to great effect by Legacy. See if that's the path they go down once again. Deckard coming out for Valamar this time, and they bring back the Hogger. Sonya yet to be picked up once again, but again, Hogger can give her a little bit of a rough time. So it's not the worst situation here, and this is a pretty reasonable map for Merc Camp Clear for a Hogger. Could be worse. Chromie and Leoric. That gives them a lot of control here. And you can see here, with Zeratul not banned out yet, we see Lutano currently hovering on that Leoric. That is something they've done before. Put Lutano on an offlane hero where he just split pushes. And put Cure on Zeratul. Zeratul not banned out this time. This time they removed Tracer from the play. So Zeratul has been allowed. It's been let through. But it's going to be ONYX who get first pick after the draft. Do they potentially want to steal the Zeratul? Or are they just mixing up their bans? Are they not really as scared of it this time? Do they think there's no point in picking a Zeratul when there's a Leoric in play? With Chromie already on the board. Is that enough damage on its own? You'll have to see. It could in theory be a main tank Leoric, but it's unlikely here. No, it doesn't need to be a main tank Leoric if we have Uther. There's Reyna and ETC. It's a lot of extra disengage. ETC into Uther is actually pretty reasonable. Uther can interrupt Mosh Pit, but he has to come from directly above ETC to land that stun. If not, he has to use Divine Storm at a very close angle in order to get the interrupt on that. So far, no Mosh interrupts. Simplicity. They don't go for it. They don't take the risk of Zeratul. They instead get Sonya and Malfurion as the healer. So Malfurion does give them that Mosh interrupt along with Sonya. It's going to be a main tank Uther. And ONYX, they finish out with the Tassadar. Very solid damage output here. Good poke, good wave clear. It's a solid choice for them. Potential wombo. If they want to go for Black Hole Mosh Pit. Potential value there. Looking good for both these teams. Solid lineups across the board. I think I like Simplicities a little more here because they have a little bit more immediate burst, immediate kill potential. They have a lot more CC and just general disruption. Whereas on the side of ONYX, they're a little bit more limited. They'd have to go for Black Hole in order to get like that extra CC. They can make a delivery as a Force Wall. That could actually be a really good saving grace for them. But I think with a Leap, if we do go for Leap, which is a good chance we will, Sonya's going to give them a really rough time. And if we don't go for Leap, there's still a pretty good chance that Sonya's going to give them a rough time because the lack of mobility of heroes like Tassadar. I think I'm leaning towards Simplicity for this one, but we will have to see as we are heading into game number 3. Currently 2-0 up on this right-hand side. It is Simplicity with Masquerade on the Uther, Hosty on Chromie, Legacy on Malfurion, Lutano on Leoric, and Cure is playing the Sonya. Very cool to see. So they're going for that triple bruise, a triple front line on the left-hand side. ONYX with Gotfilth on Raider, Valamar on Deckard, Funds on Tassadar, Bad Betty on ETC, and Uki will be playing that Hogger. Vision was used by Chromie there, spotting if anyone is around. Going for a bit of poke, lands a shot. We're going for a Q build Uther. Not going for the stun cooldown reduction here. Masquerade wants to sustain through these rotations, so instead going for that Silver Touch. With multiple tanks, makes a lot of sense. It gives Uther a lot of extra sustain. They already have a lot of CC. This is going to give them a lot of poke. It's going to give them, which is great, going to be great for interrupts as they go in. Long range heals to keep an eye on the heroes like Sonya, or even heal back to Chromie. It's a solid choice. They'll be building into the Holy Shock as this game goes on. Cure and Lutano both helping out on the rotation for now. Cure is finally going to be heading down to the bottom lane. Root with Emerald Dream attempted. That's going to really zone them away. Uki dodges the stun. Spins away to freedom. Psy Infusion coming out for Tassadar, going for a little bit of wave clear that way. Time Trap is just going to be burned. Stun onto ETC. Root, Sleep. That's so much CC. Look at that chain CC they have. Stun from Sonya, stun from Uther, Root, and then Sleep from Malfurion. They have such an insane CC chain. Can ONYX deal with this? It's going to be a Ruby game, most likely, from ONYX, with Deckard already picking up that field study. The Psy Infusion for Tassadar could, in fact, lead them towards the more Korean style of build, where they do go... What a bounce. Wonderfully done. Could definitely lead them towards that style of build, where they do go for a Force Wall style. Let's see. It's level 4. They are not. They're going to go with that shield. Psy Infusion is going to help them on the rotation. They don't think they're going to get those auto attacks off. Keep it safe. Just drop the storms, clear the waves. Power slide onto Masquerade. Face melt lands the root. Good DPS, but Gottfeld still forced to back up. Bad Betty now a little bit isolated. Runs the wrong way. Looks to dodge some stuns, but end up eating all the damage, getting themselves body blocked. That is going to be first blood going over to Simplicity. There is a Ruby Rubies coming in from Deckard. That might have been why ETC walked in. I might have missed that. Masquerade eats a couple shots, dropping those holy shocks. Loud speakers coming in. Is that a rare tea, man? You hear it? Is Black Milk Online. Hello. You will hear me every other week on CCL days and every alternative week to that. Still on this channel, just not on CCL days, but still casting CCL games. Those will be happening during the week, likely Monday, Tuesdays. Maybe a little bit later. It's really just going to be when I have the time. Chromie poking away. Doing as much damage as she can, causing some chaos. They're poking their way through. Funds melting away at this minion wave. Remember, just because Funds went for this build doesn't mean they're going to be limited away from picking the percentage damage later on, which into this composition might be the play. It might be, but if not, going for a more just poke and sustain damage-based build could work out. Reyna gets percentage damage later on. Hogger bouncing to freedom. And right back into lane. Value. Level 7 is hit. Poison Spear. Hand of Protection. Drain momentum. A proper greeting. Big chunk of damage onto Reyna, who escapes, though, barely getting away. Reyna stays alive. We're going for the Pinball Wizard for that ETC. And Tassadar, very interesting, mixing up the build. Arc Discharge. Getting that extra 1 basic attack range, big stun, anti-heal onto Cure with the Emerald counter kill. 1-to-1. Now it going over to ONYX. They look to make it a 2-for-1, sorry, in their favor. With that, ONYX takes the lead here. So getting the extra 1 attack range and next instance of damage also creates a Psy Storm. And that is a talented Psy Storm coming in here. So it still has that Psy Infusion. Getting that extra range of Psy Storm, which is obviously less relevant, but that mana increase, that mana regen, meaning that Tassadar is going to be very mana sustained here. But an extra attack range is going to be the big play here. They try to chase down Lutano. It is an ace in the hole for Gottfeld. That's a big root sleep death. You can see again still just how scary the CC chain is by Simplicity. Hey, we're going to already pick him off and blow him up. Cure. Back it all the way up. Whirlwinding, but there was nothing to whirlwind on Gottfeld. Showing just how relentless this Raider can be, just melting through. And now, with that level 7, will drop slows is going to proc their own ace in the hole here. Going to make it very difficult. Front wall goes down, and that looks like all we're going to get here. Mid was weakened. They're going to try and take out Masquerade. Force wall. They get the knockback, and that is going to be Masquerade certainly dead here. No way they're getting out of here. Damage output from Gottfeld too high. So Tassadar, build-wise, I think it's going to be a feedback game. I'm going to go for the Archon, but feedback, that extra slow. They're going to synergize armor reduction. They're going to use that Tassadar build to synergize with Raider, I think, to maximize DPS output. And they could either go for Thermal Lance or Executioner's Will. They could go for Psychic Shock, but I doubt that's likely. Level 10 for both teams. Shockwave for Hogger, a little bit of extra CC. Leap, Twilight Dream, Entomb, and D-Shield. Even more CC. They are going for that D-Shield though, keep some safety. Good next couple hits. Shockwave. Leap has to be used under the root there from Legacy. Shuts that down. Stun from Masquerade. The rest of the team is close enough that they'll back away. Moshpit is online as well as a lot of interrupts available for it. Bad Betty avoiding pain for now. Team making their way the safe way round to join on in. Fun's poking away. Got Filth really working their way through these web weavers. There's definitely a better push by Simplicity, getting a lot more fort damage. Kill count still in favor of ONYX. Still ahead, still looking strong. Bad Betty, stunned, speared, root, sleep, alive? Reyna died onto the side. Hosty was able to just 1v3 or 2v3 potentially with Leoric. But Hosty picking up a kill there. ETC lived. That's going to be a big win going over to Simplicity, finding the kill. But having ETC alive is still going to give so much zoning potential. Over to Simplicity, which they use immediately, and also nearly kill Tassadar, allowing them to burst their way through and set themselves up for their next web weaver turn-in. They even aggro the Bruiser camp, so they're going to have that as extra push here. And this is looking good for Simplicity. Oh, we got some Simplicity team comms that we can't listen to because Clean Feed, they're still showing that graphic. Oh, hey guys, we're winning. Let's push on in. Uh-oh, guys, I think I might be about to get moshed. Can you zone for me? Oh, it's a good route. Thank you, Legacy. I'm going to Divine Shield and just try and kill the ETC here. There's the leap. Good job, guys. Now there's no mosh. We can just keep pushing now. Make sure to stand in that spell armor. Oh, I got the Entomb on Funds. Nicely done. Oh, no, guys, he slept me, but I just got immediately woken up. That's bloody value. That they're going to clean up. We'll clean it up, guys. Look at all these team comms that we get. How wonderful. Hey guys, let's push bot lane as well. We got a web weaver there too. We can maybe kill Uki. Just run him down. I'll tank. I got that physical armor. Ah, no, we can't get him. He's too quick. He's bounced away. Oh well, we'll get all 3 forts. So good. We're the best. Season 1 champions is what we are. Go Simplicity. Cure, you nearly died. What are you doing? All right, we're a level 4. We're out of the team comms now because we can't hear them. It's gonna be the, as we predicted, level 13 feedback. So now, as long as Tass is auto-attacking someone inside of Storm, they get a 50% slow, and their physical armor is reduced by 25. This is going to combo with Reyna so well, but will it be enough? As Leoric builds into that Life Leech, Mithril Mace will be ready too. There's another Entomb onto Funds in serious trouble. There's the lead. Funds is taken out. The burst, the wombo, the CC chain, Mosh, and Stay a While both used. ONYX are falling apart here, finding absolutely nothing with these plays. They're forced to back up. They burn some of their biggest heroics. They find no kills, no value. And with that Simplicity are beginning to snowball. They're grabbing nearly enough gems for a turn-in. They get bottom siege. They're literally now just waiting for minion waves to arrive so they can get the gems. Won't be able to get those. Not safe to do so. Was thinking about it. Really not a good idea. Forced to back up. Wait out for just a little bit longer. Then they can try again to try and grab those. Reyna, by the way, going for that debilitating round. Go for a little bit of extra cooldown reduction and slow. Gives them some disengage potential. Cooldown reduction. Uki in a little bit of a rough position. Going to go for the perma bells, but he has to get out of here at some point. He's just going to eat a lot of damage until then. ETC will get zoned, slept, drained, and Bad Betty in a lot of trouble here. There's the Entomb. No one there to follow up, but Bad Betty is just going to die. Chromie over the wall. Hogger's still going, but again, he has to get out of here at some point. He's just going to eat damage until then. That's just a dead Hogger. Alright, Simplicity get another kill. They deny 15 gems. And they're going to be able to push in, grab themselves a keep. All the front line is dead, and this looks like it just might be the end of ONYX, quite frankly. Webweavers won't hit the core, but there's 26 seconds left until Hogger. They staggered that dev really nicely. They're going to get a minimum 2 keeps here. I don't think this is actually end, but they're setting themselves up really nicely. This is going to be Simplicity pushing their way in, setting themselves up. Then you can see the positioning of Lutano there, making sure he's always the furthest forward. Entomb just came off cooldown, could have reacted if there was a counter engage. Bad Betty is back alive. And they're just going to clear out these minions, just get any value they can. Immediate reaction from Simplicity. Boss. ETC is on the way, because this is kind of all they can do. Boss is immediately leashed because they had to show on the minion wave. The boss is abandoned, so now it's just a trap. They're just going to look to try and kill Betty again. Power slide. Dodging. Bad Betty's okay, but that's a 3-man lead with the dive. Lutano forward, stay a while. This time buys them a little bit of time. They're going to try and focus on Lutano and get the kill. Bad Betty's in the backline, causing chaos. Still has Mosh. Twilight Dream silences him out. Bursted down. Huge damage. Bad Betty going to die to Masquerade. Face melt. The boss is aggroed, but Gottville is creeping forward. Funds getting damage with the shock ray. They're looking for Masquerade. That's all that's left with Malfurion down and Hosty already basically under towers. Masquerade slowed by Raider, focused down, zoned by the root, tanking best he can. But ONYX find the fight, find the kills. It's Hosty now. He gets some of the gems, but that is like 50 gems lost. That is, oh no, they just turned in. Never mind. Very few gems lost by Simplicity. They're able to pick up most of them. Catapult's about to hit the core of ONYX, but they do have a little bit of time to get this boss. They gotta hurry though. They need to get home. Fuzz Force Wall to zone away Lutano. Beautifully done. They gotta get home. They gotta get home. Minion wave is holding back the holding back the catapults, but there will still be core damage if they don't do anything, and finally we will see Hogger make their way in and clear that up. They were saved by their minion wave for a bit, but they really did have to react here. Uki will hold this back. First fort for ONYX is available 3 gems away, which there is exactly 3 gems sitting right next to them if they pick them up. But no, they're looking for blood. They're looking for kills. They have enough for the turn in though. Hogger was able to find the gems. Boss will be cleaned up, but that is a fort. It is something. ONYX are still in this game. They're looking real rough. But they are not out yet. Executioner's Will coming in for the Tassadar. Instantly maxing out that Resonance of Beam and getting 20 spell power. This is basically just to mean that they can instantly get value out of that level 13 on that feedback. Very smart. Especially, again, just setting traps. Waves being cleared. Bruises being taken. ONYX, they're trying to get these web weavers pushed up, but it looks like bot is just going to end up being wave clear, and mid it's going to have to be where they choose. But the bruiser cap surrounding the web weaver. That is rough positioning there. Top going to be cleared real fast. Absolutely wrecked. Level 20. Just around the corner for Simplicity, and that is really bad news for ONYX, who still have over 3/4 of a level to go. But they're still pushing. They're still making the play because they have very few options left. They push in forward. Leoric, Wraith walking through. Buried Alive is now available. Power slide leap onto Tassadar. Funds focus down, blown up and killed off. The Divine Shield to keep Cure alive. The Hogger is bouncing through, trying to keep this fight going, but that is just simply going to be a 1-for-0. Very simple. They did burn 2 pretty big heroics, but one of them has they both have very low cooldowns. Picking up those kills. Mid 4 didn't even die. Mid fort survives, bot fort survives. And this has just been the plan for Simplicity every single time. Kill Tassadar, and we are fine. They set themselves up, clear themselves out. Looking good so far. Top lane, going to be cleaned out by ONYX, still trying to buy themselves some time in their last remaining lane for keep. Entomb is already back off cooldown. Leap's about to be D-shield 30 seconds away. Uki has to be real careful on that rotation. Hosty spots them. No temporal loop though, and it's a very short range anyway. But there's level 20. ONYX aren't out yet. If they win a fight, we are not yet late enough in the game where they could maybe just run for core, but they could certainly try. They respect the elderly for that sleep. The extra healing, gaining the Inspire when that Brainless Raider dies. No control for the Hogger. Twilight Archon. That could be what Tassadar needs to stay alive. Just drop it, gain that extra shielding, keep himself alive that way. ETC, yet to pick. Could Torbus, could Blink, could Deathbosh. All could be useful here. There's the Entomb on Tassadar. He can't Archon. If he's in it, he gets it though. Power slide into the sleep with the Twilight Dream dropping him, and they're able to get the Bosch, taking out Uther. But he's got Redemption to keep them alive. So this time, Tassadar was able to get the Archon thanks to the Steowan and Listen of Valimar. Respect the elderly. Multiple silences coming out from across the board, and we are seeing the big push coming in from ONYX. They're trying to get any value done. Leo is going to try and take out the last keep, trade a keep for a keep. Fun's getting chunked! Absolutely eaten by Chromie here! The shield, nowhere near enough. Uki was slept, forced to retreat, and they can't hold. They're gonna lose a keep. 4v4, we see ONYX driven back. They nearly lose a keep. They lose the fight. They're in a rough spot now, but they're not done. Power slide doesn't land, though. There's the ignore pain. They're going to try and make their way through. Hogger deep in the backline. Drops the spell out power reduction with Pummel. Not enough to finish the job. It is Torbus for that ETC. We did mention it earlier. Entomb, take out ETC. He's got 57 seconds left on Mosh, but he's also the main engage tool. Take it out. Leap, 3 out of the backline. Hogger is already deep in there. No control. Going to try and take the damage. Divine Shield on Sonya, holding her together. Funz is trying to stay alive. Respect the elderly, baby! Holding them together. But it's going to be Deckard who goes down. He cannot hold. Garfield slowed by Lutano. Cure chasing him as well. The slow. Garfield actually able to escape here. Hogger and Raider will live, but that is now going to be a 4. Oh, hang on. Hogger still trying to interrupt the turn in here. Raider just needs to get back to base. He's trying to escape a Hosty. Snipes him out of the map. Hogger tries to delay, but Uki is out of places to go. GGs have been called. Uki multi-man stun. He's on the run, trying to buy time, but Hosty again picks him out the sky, catapults on the core, and that's going to be GG. In a 3-0, we are going to see Simplicity take game number 3, and with that, they will start their season with a clean slate. 3-0 for Simplicity, the previous season champions, starting off in very solid fashion. Very nicely done. Simplicity looking strong. They're finding the angles when they needed them. Blasting out the members of ONYX, mostly focusing on ETC and Tassadar. And the ETC turned out to be the big play. When they focused Tassadar a couple times, ETC started getting those power slides, started getting those tour buses. The second they stopped focusing the Tassadar, started focusing ETC, there was nothing left that ONYX could do. They had already pulled out all their tricks. With that, 14-10 at the end there. Tassadar 5 deaths. ETC 4 deaths. 100% intentional, just trying to focus down. Masquerade the main tank, 4 deaths as well, but was revived for one of them. And healed pretty effectively overall. Nowhere near as much as Malfurion or Deckard, but still did pretty solid work there. Not bad at all. With that, Simplicity technically take the lead. They are currently first place in HeroesCCL. They also have been one of only 2 teams to play a game. Excuse me. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking good. We have our first series out the way. With series number 1 down, Simplicity taking the lead here. Showing that Hostie's Chromie still absolutely terrifying and should be feared. The Leap Sonya. Multi-man stuns repeatedly that game. Very nicely done. With that, we are seeing the end of series number 1. Our next series, though, we have another series today, and we have more tomorrow. Tomorrow's games, starting the same time as these ones, which is 9 p.m. British time or 4 p.m. EST. Storm Esports versus Granite Gaming. Should be a really fun matchup. One of our new teams versus a team that basically has an entirely new roster anyway. That will be happening tomorrow. Our second game after that, Oxygen Esports versus 30k. The winner of the Icebreaker Cup versus the team that went mostly undefeated for the entirety of Season 1 for the majority of the main season until like week 5. Something insane like that. ONYX seeing if they can start off just as strong once again. But those are tomorrow's games, because today we still have another series to go. That is going to be Wildheart Esports versus Chili Mountain. Now, this is going to be really interesting. Wildheart Esports, they have been playing off-season. They have been playing in the Storm Division. And they are in the grand finals of that versus the team Heavy Impact, the previous season champions of Storm Division. They are coming from the lower bracket, though. So we'll have to see if this practice, if this keeping them fresh, has been enough to keep them going and keep them strong. Chili Mountain, on the other hand, they have also been playing off-season, but for a different reason. Because the management of Chili Mountain actually made the very unusual decision to draft their entire Masters Clash team, the professional league in Europe. They drafted the entire roster of that, and then added Caterpillar. Excuse me, which is really fascinating, because you'd think that would be a really smart move if their team was one of the best in Masters Clash. But it isn't. Chili Mountain is actually 5th in Masters Clash out of 8th. Out of 8 teams, they are 5th. But Chili Mountain, they've doubled down, not just on Masters Clash, but on CCL. Doubly committing that they believe that just committing to these players playing together and getting more practice together than basically any of the other teams, that they can get that extra power and experience. We'll see if it works for them. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. No other team has tried anything like this. Multiple teams have different rosters in different divisions. 30k, for example, has a roster in Masters Clash, but it is not their CCL roster. Interesting to see. And with DreamHack Opens coming up, signups open, by the way, head over and check those out. With DreamHack Opens coming out for the DreamHack Beyond, they're suddenly in a position where they could set themselves up to try and get even more games out. So far, teams that signed up for the DreamHack Opens are Wildheart, Oxygen, and I believe ONYX? Let me check. I've got it in a DM. There he is. There they are. Scroll, 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 scroll. Scroll, scroll, scroll. There's the link. Nope, that's the wrong link. That is the wrong link. That is my link. I want their link. Those are owls. There we go. Alrighty. So I was chatting with the person from DreamHack and sending them pictures of owls. Because why wouldn't you? Owls are cool. Speaking of which, off topic for a second, Jinxie Cat and I finished the Owl House, so it's Oxygen, Wildheart, and Simplicity that are signed up so far. With Wildheart and Simplicity still need depends. Currently, the Oxygen are the only team that are fully signed up. But smart. Trying to keep themselves fresh, trying to keep themselves playing. Very smart. But Jinxie Cat and I finished Season 1 of the Owl House, and we are so angry that there is not a Season 2 yet. Because, good lord, that's a good show. Would recommend. Alrighty, so what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to go on a break. After I have, fixed the overlay to make it look good. When we come back, it will be our second series of the day. So I hope you're excited as I am for that. Once again, we're going to be jumping in with the fantastic matchup of Wildheart Esports versus Chili Mountain. Should be exciting, should be entertaining. I'm literally just fixing up the overlay right now, and then I will send you to that break. And then we shall await for the matches to begin. But for now, if you're enjoying the cast, please consider dropping a subscription or a donation, because those are two of the best ways to support the channel. You can also share with your friends, talk about me on Reddit or Twitter or wherever, because bringing in new viewers is potentially even better than subscribing in a lot of ways to try and bring in that support and bring in that attention, because I don't get paid for this outside of the generosity of the wonderful people at home who are watching this cast. For now, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our second series of the day in a short moment. It will be Wildheart Esports versus Chili Mountain. See you all in a moment.